Welcome, everyone. This is Pine Leaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Terry Edwin.
Hi.
Maven.
Hey, y'all.
And Sanswinda.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And it is time for us to head right into the game news, which unfortunately only includes a rather light beacon.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd have Balrog notes, but it doesn't look like we got Balrog this week.
No.
Oh, well, we can only hope that they get it up soon.
Which, I'm okay with the delay because it means that there's more for us to actually look at that might be not completely not finished yet.
Right. There's a possibility we won't fall through floors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that did add flavor, but...
That's right.
Well, or if we're going to Northern Rookwoods, fall through spider webs. No.
No, the spiders are supposed to be gone, right, guys?
Well,
I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
Still there.
Yeah.
Burn it
really?
down.
You think they're
Burn
going to
the
be
whole
gone?
forest
They're
down.
not going to be gone.
Set the fire to the trees.
I have a feeling that there's some elves that might object to that particular way of handling the...
They live underground. It'll be fine.
Well, you do have a point there.
Pretty sure they're gonna object, yes.
Well, then they can be on spiderweb removal duty before I show up.
Yeah. Besides, hey, with Sauron gone, and if the spiders are gone, the elves might start to think that it might be time to start moving upstairs.
And they can do the spider web removal themselves.
No, come on. That's what stupid humans are for.
Okay, but not hobbits.
And stupid hobbits.
Nope. We're for torching things.
Yeah.
We learned from runekeepers. I'm sure that's where I learned it.
Random expendable adventure is for cleaning out all of the things.
Yuck.
Oh, well. Besides, it's, late March or early April when you'll be going up in there, which means that it'll probably be a bit on the rainy season.
Well, maybe the rain will take care of it for us. I mean, it is time for spring cleaning, too.
What the climate is generally in Mirkwood, I suppose.
True. And I guess if I have to clean up spiderwebs, so long as they stay gone, I'm okay with this. But if they have to keep respawning and I have to keep seeing them every time I go past, I'm not so okay with that.
I mean, we don't necessarily know that Mirkwood and Erebor have a rainy season.
Well, there is that matter.
Hopefully they have no spiderweb season.
No spiderweb season?
Regardless of whether it rains or not.
I'm predicting spiderwebs.
I know.
I'm just throwing that out there now. I'm predicting spiderwebs.
Oh, yeah, they got to have spiders. There's definitely got to be some kind of spiders.
It's partly webby today with a 50% chance of heavy foliage.
There was a whole bit with a bunch of giant spiders in the books. You've got to have the spider webs, even if you don't have the spiders.
I know. And they probably left broodlings behind or something nasty.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm
we can
sure.
spend most of our time underground with the elves.
Do you really want to hang out that much with the elves?
More than with spiderwebs.
Anyway, let's
pass and go to Erebor.
Yeah. Let's look at our weekly comment, and the question is, do you use emotes, and if so, what's your favorite?
My favorite is Bring It On, because you get that by being Skirmisher of Middle-earth. But yes, I use emotes frequently. In fact, I am known to have them set in my bars, like in my top couple bars. Sarissa, in particular, uses the rude emote, because that's the animation for the rude emote is actually probably one of my favorite animations, because it basically you point at somebody and then you draw your finger across your throat like you're going to cut their throat. It's an extremely threatening gesture, and I love using it on a burglar because then you like threaten somebody and disappear. It's awesome.
I really like the Hobbit laugh.
There's also the mock emote.
That one's especially cute on dwarves. From behind.
Terry Edwin has the Banner of Gondor emote also in her bars. That one and Bring It On are the two that are in Terry's bars.
I've been known to drive people crazy with the trumpet emote. But I think my favorite is my favorite is because Glordriel has it, and Glordriel is this very stiff-spined elf, right? She's very like business and all about the battle and stuff. And the toast emote is completely like opposite of her nature. So to watch her do the toast emote is just makes me laugh every time. And the toast emote anyway is pretty fun.
Yes, it is. And it's pretty rare to get that emote. So
yeah, let's see what's the festival?
It sounds like the anniversary.
The anniversary event, and it drops out of envelopes rarely.
Oh, right. Okay,
it's not something you can barter for or purchase.
You have to just keep opening envelopes and hope.
Yeah, you have to hope
that you don't get it on the character who already has it. If you already have it on a character.
Oh,
yeah, and
that's terrible.
Then it's bound to character when you get it, so you can't pass it around to your elf.
I know.
You want to talk about fixing some binding issues? There's some binding issues that they could fix.
That would be pretty cool if it was bound to account.
New random cosmetics.
Yeah, free the cosmetics and bind to account the emotes. I like this.
I'm trying to think, because I don't think there are any emotes that I use heavily. Now, of course, I do have Bring It On, which I like to use every once in a while, simply because how much I went through to get that.
Oh, and High Elf Dance 3.
Oh, yeah.
Ballet.
Oh, yeah. High Elf Dance 3, we can't forget about that.
Can't forget the Russian Ballet.
And of course, some of those Hobbit emotes, the wave that the hobbits do, jumping up and down exuberantly and all that stuff.
Hobbit emotes, any emote by a hobbit is just
they're pretty
a pleasure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Unless you want to laugh in a kind of stately fashion. In that case, you probably
but then you wouldn't be playing a hobbit.
Well, then you do chuckle or giggle. There's one of them where the hobbit doesn't lay down to laugh. There's one of them that they just stand up and giggle and laugh.
But all the other ones, they just lay down and laugh. It's awesome.
Well, let's see. The most likely one not to lay down and laugh would be Giggle, but I thought the Giggle did do that to them. But
yeah, there's one of them.
It's either Giggle or Chuckle.
Well, Chuckle, I would expect them to fall down on the ground laughing. So if there's one's, at least that's what I would expect. Who knows what the game really does?
Though it
Someone
was
who's in there checking.
It's kind of sad the Wozes were not impressed with my laughing on my back, kicking my feet.
Yeah, that really indicates that they are very tough critics.
Very tough, because, yeah.
Then let us see if there's anything in here. Oh, we have a screenshot of the week, which is showing Linzel sharing a screenshot on Twitter, which shows lots of people flying kites in the wintertime.
I'm going to guess that that's something from Winterstock.
That's Winterstock from the stage, I think.
It would have to be Winterstock, yes.
Which is kind of cool. So you're looking from the stage out to the audience, and it's all those
yeah,
kites.
they're all flying the kites.
And then let's head into the store sales for this week. And anything nice for sale?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, the free sample is kind of a downer because the free sample is Regeneration Food times 1, coupon code REGEN.
Times 1?
Yeah.
Really 5 minutes of food.
That's the coupon code you could probably skip. If you, for some reason, aren't getting crayons out of your Hobbit present. But 25% off now through January 25th is select storage and more. So wardrobe space, shared storage, inventory slots, lots of, and so my plans, I say this in air quotes because they weren't really like concrete plans, but my plans of areaing up another character went up in flames this week because I got some more shared storage and a couple more inventory spaces. I did not get more wardrobe, however, because I've got 170 wardrobe already, and it's not full yet. Yet. I'm good about conserving my wardrobe spaces, though. I don't need to put everything in my wardrobe. I have some pieces that I use like all the time, accessories usually, and then chest pieces I typically will just drop in and then take right back out again. So I'll dye the piece itself instead of leaving it in there in 6 different colors. There's your cosmeticing tip for the day from Terry Edwin.
Then let's head into our site news, and we will begin with another installment to our 99 Instances series, where Squirrely talks about an epic big battle. And what he's talking about is, of course, the story and the history of the epic battles, which I don't know if there's anyone here who is particularly enthralled about them. Anyone?
Not really.
Yeah.
The title of the article sounds epic.
Yeah.
The other ones honestly aren't too bad. I don't mind doing them. But, I mean, on the whole, I'll just skip epic battles altogether.
Yeah, I tend to skip them myself. Anyway, he talks about the history on the epic battles, how it's a new type of instance than what we had before, what you do about them, the eras of them.
What you do about them is you don't do them.
Well, yeah, that tends to be my style of handling them.
That's kind of the LOTRO player's way of handling epic battles, is to not do them.
Yeah. Looks like Squirrel likes them better than we do.
Yeah, I think so. See, tonight instead of Buddha, we have the Squeaky Toy to mute out so you guys don't have to hear it too much.
I'm curious, though, because I actually have both of the trait points that you get from epic battles. Does anybody else here have them?
No way!
I have one of them, and I'm pretty close. I think I'm 35 promotion points away from getting the second one, which would be a freaking miracle as far as I think she'll be the only character that I get those 2 trait points.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've only done it once, but I do have like both trait points on my main Terry.
I really like the idea of them. But
yeah, the idea is better than the execution.
Yeah, than the actual, yeah.
And I'm going to say it was kind of fun at level 10 to try. Just because I could, and it popped up saying I could, but it didn't
but
exactly
being able
work
to
out
do it
very well for my character.
Yeah, so Sans has learned from painful experience that just because the game tells you that you can do epic battles at level 10, you really probably don't want to. It's not a good idea.
Not. Though we did have an epic conga line of orcs. If you're going to do epic battles at level 10,
that's right.
I suggest Helm's
That's
Deep.
right. Helm's Dyke. Absolutely.
Dyke, yes.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
And we remember we stood up on the top of the bridge and actually ended up killing the captain or whatever that was down below.
Right,
It took us forever to do it, but
it took forever, but it resulted in some really funny moments.
Well, you had to go with the humor for that one because they were.
Well, yeah, you have to make sure you're
success.
not going in with somebody who's like super serious about it, because otherwise they will be very disappointed.
Though if they get in at level 10, they kind of asked for disappointment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but what was it? Was it retaking Pillar Gear that was a total disaster?
Oh yeah, that as a full fellowship is challenging anyway.
Yeah,
and that's on level. It's challenging. So trying to do it at level 10 when you don't have all of your skills is like a bloodbath waiting to happen.
It's pretty much exactly what it was.
Except it didn't wait all that long.
No, it didn't take very long for it to be a bloodbath. Especially with none of us having reses.
Yeah. I noticed in here he talks about how with the Helm's Deep ones, the most important parts of it are the side quests to it. And it reminds me how I think, well, you know how I am. I'd say, well, why couldn't they just take it the side quests, turn them into skirmishes, and be done with it? But
That's a
yeah,
good idea. How cool it would be if they did that. They could make it so that you do the side quest either in a big battle or it could be a skirmish on its own. That'd be very cool.
right. Because the idea there is that, let's face it, there's no way in the world you could be the biggest contributor to the Battle of
Oh, come
Helm's
on,
Deep
yes, I
simply
could.
because it's written in the lore as to what happened.
Well, there could be something, there could be some sort of like logistical
There could
thing
be
that without which they
logistical
couldn't do it.
something that-
Yeah.
Yes, but that would be a side quest, not the main battle.
Yeah, but that'd be great. Side
Yeah.
quest and then make it into a skirm. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what but
They should talk to us, I mean, really. We have all the answers.
After we've seen it.
after we see it,
Yeah,
yes.
it's
Well,
done.
yeah, there's that little minor detail.
And we
as-
give these ideas for free, guys.
That's right. That's right. We're not even asking for anything. You could even take credit.
And I guess the other thing that I noticed with them, though, is that once you start to have the points to be able to build the defenses and things, it makes a difference, too. Because...
That really is true. I mean, if somebody will say, okay, pick up that barricade, and when I was lower level, I'm like, I can't pick it up.
Right, like,
Now
I
I can.
can,
It's like,
I can
oh,
try
sure,
to
no
repair
problem.
it, and that's, like, all I can do. That's, like, try
Yeah.
to repair it.
Oh well. Let's then head to the Antipodean Rider on Durin's Bridge. So this is a poem, obviously, about the battle between Gandalf and the Balrog. In Khazad-dûm did Gandalf fall, dueling the Balrog in the hall of stone where Durin's folk had stayed, though dwarven strength is long decayed. Gandalf astride the bridge did stand, and staff and sword gripped in each hand. The demon Balrog stalked him there, its wing-like darkness filled the air, while goblins all around them roared. Gandalf no further could afford to flee. Self-sacrifice dear bought, the Balrog his defiance caught. You shall not pass! Know that I wield the flame of Anor, nor will yield. The Balrog's fire dimmed, but yet upon the bridge of stone he stepped. His darkling wings the cavern fill. Yet Gandalf to his station kept, as Galamdring answered Balrog's sword, and demon flame smote wizard fire, while Gandalf's staff with levin cracked defiance in the Balrog ire. When Gandalf broke the bridge, it fell. Its whip instagged the wizard's limb, entangled in the coiling flame to pull the wizard after him, to plummet down the Everdark, where endless times uncounted flow by mountain root, by ancient stone, which none but primordial creatures know. The Balrog's fires are quenched. He strikes as Gandalf hews back with Galamdring. Beneath the earth they grapple on, each pierce, each thrust, each countering to trade another blow beneath Durin's bridge in the abyss, as hand to claw they grapple in a land of cold stone and darkness. When suddenly the Balrog flees, retreating into tombs of night with Gandalf clutching at his heels, it panicked in the heedless flight to climb the endless stair from mountain base to the high peak of Silvertine, to break upon the earth day once more, out into the daylight bright sunshine. And whence upon its flames renew, so Gandalf closes to the duel, then recommenced upon the top of Celebdil, Their combat crew made lightnings blaze and fires roar with demon flame, shrouded from view two foes who battled to the death in mortal combat locked. But few would later hear how mountain rangers smashed when they began the quake, as all around the shattered cliffs were riven, while their summits break till finally his naked power robbed the Balrog of its breath, and thrown down it lashed its frenzied limbs in the last throes of death. Its claws are still. A silence falls. Gandalf, the victor, stands but seems to weaken, to collapse, now spent completely. Then his waking dreams take him outside of Middle-earth, as days and nights pass swiftly by, while sunlight, moonlight, starlight in their paths yet walk across the sky. The wizard spirit beyond space and time long wandered far from home, and what he heard, and what he saw, Gandalf kept to himself alone. Thus of his soaring spirit's journey none on Middle-earth did learn, and Gandalf's body lies there, waiting till its spirit should return. Whee! And with that, let's head into a new player question. And who has the question this week?
I do.
Okay, Terry, what is that?
I know. It's been a long time since I've been a new player, but there was a question that came up during the field trip yesterday, so I figured I would share it. What are corruption removal skills, and how useful are they really?
Well, how
I know
useful
part
they
of
are
this.
very much depends on the monster you're fighting, that's for sure.
Well, they don't really come up until level 50, because corruptions are basically buffs that the enemy can put on themselves. And so corruption removal skills are skills that take those buffs off.
Do they work in the moors?
Probably
It
not.
Depends
Probably
on
for
the nature of the
NPCs.
buff.
Okay.
I mean, they work on NPCs in the moors, but I don't know if they work against creeps.
I was just curious.
Because I don't generally take my Freep into the moors, and then creeps don't have corruption removal skills.
And then the corruptions on the NPCs that can be removed, they appear in basically the same spot where you're under their name, where poisons and bleeds and things appear under your name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that top little bar.
I mean, as creeps, don't we get corruptions?
Yeah, creeps get
That's where
corruptions.
we actually get them, right? From
Right,
our
that's why I was
corruptors.
curious. But I don't know if their skills so much as just passive buffs for the creeps.
Yes, and usually the corruptions, some of the corruptions are really annoying if you don't remove them.
Like the twins in the 3-man right now. Court of Sargast.
Right.
That tears
yeah.
up real fast if you're not careful at removing it. And some bosses can't be damaged until you remove them.
Unfortunately, some classes don't have very good corruption removal skills. Like hunters, we only really have one at range, and that is Merciful Shot, which has to you have to have a certain amount of focus for that to even show up.
Well,
Oh.
Or
no,
no, it's
they
not
have
focus.
to be
It's the amount of light, amount of health,
right. They have to be under 50% morale,
or 70% if you've
or
got
under 70%
right.
if you've got it right.
improved.
But they've got to already be down before it can.
Yeah, you can't.
hit
It doesn't
them.
even activate. And then the other one is a melee, which is dazing blow. But how often are you actually in melee?
Well, and if you get in melee range of one of those bosses, how long are you gonna live?
I know.
Besides which, it has a 2-minute cooldown. So, like, run
Champions
in,
are
run away
awesome at
quickly.
corruption removal skills.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the that was the question that actually came up the other night. So the champion corruption removal is Feral Strikes, which happens at level 50. Your Savage Strikes turns to Feral Strikes, and then now Savage Strikes is it's 3 attacks. It's one skill that attacks 3 times. So Feral Strikes actually has a chance to remove up to 3 corruptions with basically your single attack, because each strike, the first attack definitely removes a corruption. Second attack has a 50% chance, and the third strike has a 25% chance.
And you were noting, I believe, that since the first one is gone before the second one is checked, therefore someone has one of those 3-tiered ones like you find in Mirkwood pretty commonly.
Mm-hmm.
You could remove the whole thing at once rather than going to remove one layer, remove the next layer,
and it's got a
remove the next
4.2 second cooldown, that skill does. It requires 2 fervor to use, but I mean, building fervor as a champion is next to it's a no-brainer. So yeah, the skill itself has 4.2 second cooldown and can potentially remove up to 3 corruptions every time it's used. So yeah, it's one of the best corruption removal skills that they've got out there.
Yeah. I remember one time when they first put out Attack at Dawn, one of the encounter mobs, the Defiler, he had a corruption skill on him. I noticed they eventually removed it because I guess they figured that you shouldn't. A level 30 skirmish shouldn't go around having corruptions in it. Because
considering you can't remove them until you're level 50.
Right. So therefore they removed the corruption. I think there might be 1 or 2 other places where they sneak in the skirmishes, but most of those are after 50 skirmishes. Any other comments on corruptions or corruption removal?
It is useful to note that every class is going to have at least 1 corruption removal skill.
Right.
In a couple of cases, it actually just says remove corruption. I know the burglar one is remove corruption, and the Warmaster one that I'm looking at right now says dispel corruption.
Right.
Some of them are a little bit sneaky. Some of them actually you have to read the tooltip to figure out what skill, because it's just added to a skill that you've been using the whole time.
Right.
And those are actually the classes that you're more likely to use it on anyway, because like champion Feral Strikes, I use Savage Strikes all the time on my champions. You have to as part of your class needs. So
yeah.
You get in the habit of using it, and then it's part of your rotation. So by the time you can actually remove corruptions and you realize, hey, now it's doing this purple swirly thing when I use the skill. That's kind of cool. Yeah. I should remember to keep doing that.
And then with the Warden, though, it comes in as a gambit called Reversal. So, of course, since you don't get buttons for...
Which doesn't really have any use other than removing corruption.
Right, that's its entire use, is removing corruption.
I mean, yes, you get the damage from the builder skills, but it's not a ton of damage, and literally all it's for is removing corruption, so you don't really get in the habit of using it.
Except when you're facing corruption. Right. If there's corruptions, if there's someone who's mainly known for corruptions or a heavy corruption user or something like this, then I use that quite a bit. But you're right. If you're fighting against things where it's not their main attack, it's like, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, Reversal. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Usually I remember it when the thing's already dead.
Yeah, that's.
And then the minstrel one is on one of the cries that you use fairly regularly anyway, so it's another one that you kind of forget that it's there, and then it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's removing corruptions. Well, I use that skill anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal to remember to use that skill. Go figure.
Yep. Any other comments on it? Then let's head into our weekend in LOTRO. And Terry Edwin, what were you up to, and what brought up this question about corruptions?
We got to talking about the raid last night after the field trip, and people were discussing corruptions and talking about corruption removal skills, and I was super excited because basically what I was hearing was that people want champions for the new raid, which makes me very happy because the last raid they really kind of don't want champions for. But yeah, I had a busy-ish week in LOTRO because I had 2 days off of work, so I spent 2 of them gaming. My Arkenstone Terry during the field trip got dusted off and brought back to the cave in Wildemore so she could get out of the cave in Wildemore to go find another cave in Wildemore. Sort of dropped off the questing of Voldemort to just focus primarily on the epic, which turned out to be a lot of fun because we were rotating who was reading quest text instead of one person doing it all the time. So there were some very dramatic reads by Pineleaf, who I swear has missed his calling. He should totally be a dramatic voice actor. And the Thursday group, we are in Moria. Actually, Xing Xing led the way a little bit deeper. I actually started out my Thursday by, I know this is going to make everybody really shocked, but I actually started out by crafting before we started our run on Thursday. Yeah, because he was level 46 and Sans' champion was level 47 and Pineleaf's character was level 48. And I realized that the reason that they're so far ahead of me is because they have 3 XP items and I've only got 2. So, yeah, I needed to do some catching up. So he crafted his way to 47, and then we got him up to 48 so that he could go take the quest and do the epic story and all of that other fun stuff.
After lunch.
After lunch. Yeah. Because that's going to be the running gag through Mirkwood through Moria is we're just going to repeat the funny things that the dwarf NPCs say when you click on them and add after lunch to everything that they say. Which makes me really hungry by the end of playing on Thursday.
Yeah, it's a good thing we play after lunch.
And I also dusted off my Lore Master Galabrilith, which I'm on that character right now. That's how I knew what the Lore Master corruption removal skill was. And so this is the character that I took from level 50 to level 105 and then took back to do Volume 1, which is why I haven't played her in a while, because she's doing Volume 1. Which, having done Volume 1 way too many times, she's kind of casually snoozing through Volume 1, because for me, the Lore Master is like the laziest class, the laziest I can possibly be with any class anyway, because I just send my pet to do everything. And then on top of that, you've got all these talky instances where you don't really have to pay attention to what's going on anyway. So, yeah, she's running around with a saber-toothed cat, and it's kind of great because if something needs to be killed, she just summons the cat and sends the, go kill that thing. She's up to book 10, chapter 3. She's swimming around in an Emotes right now. Because that requires very little effort on my part. So, Sans, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. My hunter on Arkenstone found her way out of a cave too, and she found some goats to follow her around Wildemore. she took them right back into the orc camp. Well,
Those
we were
are some
sore.
loud goats too.
Yeah, we had 9 of them with us. It was great.
And it was like a herd of goats. Like
Yeah.
the sound effects for all of these goats. It was
And we just like swarm up over the hills and down the hills, and it's just like a stream of goats.
there were more goats than there were players. It was great.
Yes, we definitely had more goats than
Well, that's
people's.
each of the one doing the quest had 3 goats each. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we were doing pretty good. We even took them around. We were sneakily gathering stuff, and then we attracted the attention of some orcs. And apparently, attracting the attention of the orcs did not compromise the safety of the cave. It was killing the orcs whose attention we had attracted that compromised the safety of the cave. Not quite sure how that worked. I think killing them should have negated the anyway. So then we took the goats back to the cave, and then the goats continued following us. So that was a lot of fun. We had goats for most of our Wildermore questing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We should
persistent.
probably have checked to see what happened if we did a skirmish and if we would still had goats following us into the skirmish.
That would have been interesting. When we got far enough out of range, though, they did disappear eventually.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah. When we went into that instance, I think is when mine finally disappeared. But yeah, we continued chasing Nurzum and ran away from him in an instance and discovered what happens if you don't run away from him in an instance.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that was pretty cool. And my
It
nephew,
steps on you and you die.
yeah,
In
My
case
nep-
anybody was wondering.
my nephew got his first view of Nurzum, and he goes, "Whoa!" It was pretty cool. And then I got to join Ploy for the end of a Tier 2 Throne Raid attempt, and they were at the Mumax, and I was really excited, and yeah, the Mumax stopped the attempt, so we didn't get further than that. I kind of got in for like the last try at the Mumax, but it was pretty fun. And then my bear, my OP furball, got a stunt double because
How does that work?
right? So I've got a Bjorning who's been questing with Cinder's one of Cinder's lore masters and one of Pineleaf's wardens. So we've got the Bjorning, a high elf, and a lore master questing together, who I think is an elf. But she might be human.
She's an elf.
Okay, she's an elf. So we've got 3 reses, which is kind of awesome. And my sister's lore master, renamed her bear to the same name as my bear. So there are 2 Morokes running around. And then she decided that wasn't quite obvious enough, so over this week, she got, what are they? The thing you can get from the, jeweler to change the look of your bear or your animal.
Oh, the token.
Yeah, she got one of the token things. And so she made the color of her bear the same color as, my Bjorning's bear form.
Yeah.
So, her 2 black bears were about the same height, we're about the same color, our faces look
That's
a little
not
bit
confusing
different.
at all.
We've got the same name. Like, the only way we could make this more confusing is if I had a kin that was named Ally of Tanuliel. Like, that would be the only way to make this more confusing, I think.
Okay.
So...
Alright.
Yeah, that was pretty
That-
fun.
Yeah. That would be the talisman of the black bear that she would have gotten.
Yes, she got the talisman of the black bear. Because my Bjorning's hair is black, so she is a black bear when she transforms. So, yeah, we ran around with the 2 bears, and you can never tell who actually got the killing blow, because I guess I killed a lot of things. I'm just going to take credit for them all. And then continued questing in the Misty Mountains, and is ready to move into Angmar now, so that was my week. Or, well, the part that didn't include Moria after lunch. So, Maven, how was your week?
Well, with my gaming time severely curtailed and getting even more curtailed, it seems like daily, it's fortunate that 2018 is Maven's year of the dual box. That way, when I do play, I play 2 players at once. So, I'm able to sort of get people, progressed. This week I didn't really do the 2 because I have 3 pairs. One is kind of a temporary pair. One pair is going into Moria and the other pair is going into Gondor. I didn't play those guys, but those 4 will level up, it'd be interesting. But I have been sort of practicing dual boxing because, Glordriel has been helping Winnie the Pooh, my Ariad Bjorning, get up. She's at 110 now. So thanks to Colton and Glordriel, Winnie the Pooh is up to 110. She actually does have, even though bears can't use, bows, she has a bow because I figured I can't call her Winnie the Pooh without having a bow. So she's got a bow on her back that basically is cosmetic.
The controversy that is
You can use it to auto attack and pull something.
Yeah, well, I tried that actually. I tried auto attacking something. I guess I didn't do it right, but anyway.
controversy that is the OP furballs with bows.
Yeah, true. But I've kind of been having fun with her. I'm not really that much of a melee player. I'm trying really hard to sort of get through my resistance to that. But she's been a lot of fun. I mean, just like I did with Mavenclaw, I made her as close as I could to white hair so that she turns into as close as I can get to a polar bear when she turns into a bear. So anyway, so it's been kind of fun. And then since Winda referred, I beat my head against 2, not 1, but 2 tier 2 challenge instances this week, which was really a little bit more torture than I should have been doing. One was the 6-man Nair band. We tried that at tier 2 and oh my God. I mean, we managed to get through the trash mobs in the first hallway, but when you get to the bottom of the stairs in the very first hallway, we're not even up the stairs. We could not get past that group. It was just so frustrating. And then, like San said, we tried tier 2 Threat of Dread Terror, and we're talking about, tier 2 geared alts that are level 115, and Dread Terror you can only go up to 105. So we're at 105 tier 2 Dread Terror, right? Oh yeah, we go through the first boss. No, that went really well. Oh yeah. Get to the Mumax. Oh my God, by the time Sans joined us, I think we'd been through it like 8 times. Just wiped and wiped and wiped and oh my God, it was so frustrating. Oh.
Well, that fight's a challenge even at tier 1.
At tier 1 is a challenge. Yeah. I mean, if we'd been doing it at tier 1 at 115, because it's a 105, you can't go past 105. I mean, we would have been, oh yeah, we could do this. But yeah, so tier 2, that's a toughie. So one time we almost made it. We got really close at one point. But anyway, so that's still a challenge. But it was so frustrating. It's just frustrating, I mean, even though everybody's like, oh, we learned a lot and everything, still it's like, anyway.
You would rather not have had the learning experience and just been able to kill the things.
Yeah, been able to kill the things. Wipe a couple of times, fine. But I don't even think we've wiped that many times on the second boss in the Mordath raid. Maybe just gave up sooner. I don't know. But well, of course, we haven't tried that at tier 2.
True.
But still, anyway. So I came away kind of like after 2 instances. What I should have probably gone and done is just run 105 Saragost with all 3 of my 115s just to feel better. But we got done so late last night, I didn't do that. I'll take it out on those Moraval.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, I didn't put this on, but I have actually been dual boxing Winnie the Pooh with Glordorel through 105 Saragost when she was like 105, 106, so she was still getting XP. And it was interesting because, double the pleasure, double the fun. I mean, a couple times we didn't get so much great stuff out of the chest, but a few times running through, I mean, Glordorel came away with like 3 crystals and 7 scrolls. I mean, it was like, whoa, this is pretty awesome stuff. Of course, other times we didn't do so well, but that was kind of fun, and that helped me. It helps me get my dual boxing kind of strategy down because you have to unhook sometimes, and then make sure you're in a safe spot, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that was really fun. But Pine Leaf, take us home with your week in Lotro.
My week in Lotro is going to sound a little bit familiar. We'll begin with my Lore Master and my Langival Hunter, who both started their quests within Moria proper. Meaning that made it past the gates finally, into there, welcome to Casa Doom and all that stuff to make you do like, yes.
Kill some bed bugs.
kill some bed bugs, forge some weapons. Now, I'm just trying to think. A dwarf is going to ask a random person, a random non-dwarf, who they've never checked their resume on weaponsmithing, to help them in breaking in their new forge and doing a little smithing work.
So I've got to say, as a dwarf, forging in the middle of the forge was pretty awesome. Even if they should have checked my resume first.
Yes. Well, if you were a dwarf, that's an entirely different matter. But I wasn't playing a dwarf in either of those two occasions. I was playing a. Let's see. So a lore master would have been an elf, I believe, and the hunter on Landrival was a hobbit. So therefore, neither one of them is what I would call someone that the dwarves will exactly think will be the master of dwarven crafting. That's what I got to say.
Oh, come on. You're totally qualified. You squish the bed bugs. That makes you qualified.
It makes you qualified.
They let you pick up a pick to clear the debris.
Maybe the weapons that we were making were for use on the bed bugs, and they weren't quite as picky.
They've got some seriously oversized bed bugs.
They do. They're ridiculously large.
Yeah, well, there is that. Then on Arkenstone, my hunter there found her way out of a cave in Wildemore finally, because I don't know, how many months were we in that cave?
Couple.
Yeah.
A long
Right, and
time.
It's been a while.
Yeah, none of us wanted to leave the cave because that would meant having to find ourselves back in there at a later time. Though I suppose that if the next quest we needed to do was one that was in Beer Tour, then maybe we could have gone around and then just met up in Beer Tour when we were ready or something like that. But we just refused. When we finished this one, though, we finished at a point where we said, all right, the most convenient place for us to wait between is in Forlaw. So I'm the hunter. Getting back to Forlaw is going to be a cinch.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, when we're all traveling together, we have two hunters in the group. So therefore, you need to get to Forlaw.
We got two opportunities. You missed the first ride, take the second.
Yeah, that's right. So therefore, we have absolutely no trouble getting around that. I presume that if we ever needed to find a mob, no trouble. We've got two hunters in the group.
Right, we should be able to find it. It might take 3 minutes, but it should not take more.
That's as opposed to the rest of our groups, which tend to be hunter challenge sometimes.
Well, maybe we should have spread those around a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because the third group I'm in is my high elf warden, who is going with a Bjorning and a lore master, so therefore I can get around quickly, but I am traveling with two people who can't, so therefore it's a matter of, there was one time where we had a little challenge. Okay, now how are we going to get back? And Sand suggested a death port. Now, I don't like death ports. So, therefore, what they decided to is that they were going to mount up and see how long it takes, how far they can get before they get killed. So,
yeah, there wasn't anywhere to jump off of, weirdly enough, where we were. I mean, usually in the Misty Mountains, a death port isn't hard to find. You just ride off a cliff. But
right. So therefore, when they're doing that, they say, good luck, Pineleaf, and therefore I did the port to the quest giver since it was the all near the Guardaran and the Worms where that area is, which hunters and wardens get a port to that location. So therefore I ported there and they decided to try a death port in there and their death port completely failed.
Yeah, I hear it got quite the train. You know, I think it's because I've got journeyman riding. That's probably what did it.
Okay.
But yeah, apparently I had a bunch of rockworms and Guardian and wolves chasing me.
Well, you should have stopped to let them catch you.
Well, yeah, that would have probably been good, but the idea was to see how far I could ride before I got killed, and that required riding. So
yes.
I rode all the way back to Rimbark without getting killed.
So therefore, they survived the death support. We currently have 19 supporters on Patreon, and if you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for another episode of LOTRO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, LOTRO Players @LOTRO Ariandis @Ariandis, Maven @Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda @Senswinda, and Terry Edwin @Terry Edwin. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.